Good afternoon. This is Evangelist Robert L. McKim Sr. Not sure how much time I got left on my card here on this camera. But I wanted to I was going to try to do it in the last few videos, but I couldn't find the information. But I wanted to touch base on something. A lot of people out there think the government will help everyone that's in need. But the government has so many rules and regulations. You know, you got your tax rules and regulations that's a mile long or more. Then you have agencies that are supposed to be out there to help the disabled. Such as, it used to be called the Ohio Bureau of Vocational Rehabilitation, or OBVR. Now it's called something else. Long story short, I went through them a few times in the past. The last time I went through them to help me was in 2001. And of course they gave me this packet here. There's this little booklet here that talks about, it's a consumer handbook. Let me get there, see. Consumer handbook. And in this consumer handbook, of course, they have a lot of they have pictures of people with disabilities. I want to show you something here. A picture I found while I was reading it of supposedly a psychologist in a wheelchair. He looks happy, and it says here, the licensed psychiatrist at Wright has tapped into many RSC services since a trampoline accident in high school resulted in his quadriplegia. In other words, he's a quadriplegic. In addition to tuition assistance, he received rehabilitation technology services has allowed him to control his environment and drive his wheelchair by applying pressure to the chair's headrest. He also utilizes RSC's personal care assistance program. Why would a licensed psychologist even have to go through BVR for that fact? That's what gets me. Something is real strange about this. You know, you'd think licensed psychiatrists or psychologists would make a lot of money and have insurance that would cover, their medical needs. There's something very strange about this. They make it sound good. They make it look good. They're saying that they're here to help, but in reality, that's where it kicks you really in the derriere. Reality sets in. If you go through BVR, all they want to do is put you to work. They really don't want to train you or send you to, school to train you. All they do is put you to work. And that's what they did with me in 2001. They sent me to Goodwill Industries, when was in Dover, Ohio at the time. And they put me to work. That's all they want. That's all their goal is, because they look at it this way. If they send somebody to school, they pay for someone's schooling, and then that schooling doesn't pan out, they can't get a job in that field that they wanted to go in, then it's waste of taxpayers' money. So they rather just send somebody to work And this is all comes down from supposedly the so-called experts and their studies and how they wrote the rules. Well, see, that's the thing. Renee had been thrown under the bus by Stark State College. We called around and we've asked different questions about the standards of academic progress that the college has. The federal government said, oh, it's up to the local colleges to make their own rules. So I was thinking, well, it's the college's rules. Maybe we could get them to change their mind. Actually, come find out, it's actually the law. The federal government has set these guidelines, not the colleges. The federal government. And the colleges is just going along with the federal government's guidelines. She would not had dropped so low in her grade point average if one, they would have helped her like they were supposed to help her, and two, if she didn't get sick so many times and had to withdraw from classes. Again, they could have helped her, but there were professors and instructors out there that could have cared less to help her. And that is discrimination. And she filed for discrimination with the U.S. Department of Education. She went for a hearing last Thursday, and they basically threw her under the bus. They want her to go through BVR to get a job. They also want to set in with the meeting with BVR. Well, what gets me is, why do they want to keep pursuing or trying to help Renee when they wouldn't help her up there at Stark State College? They threw her under the bus. She's basically on her own now. She's been distraught over everything that's been going on and how people have been treated. People of faith, mind you. There's one lady up there, she says, oh, faith keeps me going. You know, if it wasn't for my faith. Well, if you had faith the way God wants you to have faith, if you had faith the way Jesus wants you to have faith, you wouldn't have been doing what you did, lady. Rules or no rules of the government. The Bible trumps God's law. Man's law. God's law of love, Jesus' law of love for one another, loving Him as we love ourselves, and obeying His commandments. That's what we are supposed to do, to know that we are Christians. But nobody wants to do that nowadays. All they want to do, if they work for a college or school or some government agency, all they want to do is follow the rules of the job instead of the rules of life. And the rules of life, if you're a Christian, is to love one another. It is not love when you throw somebody under the bus with a disability and wants to better their life than working in McDonald's or Burger King or Wendy's or some other fast food restaurant, or working in some other restaurant or grocery store somewhere. Okay, when I was a job coach, they had people working in the restaurant at Bueller's. And they had people, of course, working at other department stores. And a few other places. And mostly, where? In the food areas or someplace out of the way where they're not really seen. Or they're doing menial jobs like sweeping the floors and things of that nature. Straightening things up. Well, at least they have a job. They're making a little bit of money. That's what's really important. Well, you managers and you assistant managers, you bosses out there, you demean people with disabilities when it comes right down to it. It's demeaning. Really, they want to better their lives, but they're not allowed to better their lives because you want to keep them under your feet so you can show in the numbers, in the statistics, that they still need help. So you can keep your good cushy job that you get money from the government for. I'm not stupid. That's why the whole system is set up. If you're an agency that works with people with disabilities, you get money funneled in from the federal government and the state government. Tax dollars coming in. And then you gotta show proof of why you need that money. You gotta show, here's how many people is on our system that needs help. If you do something to give them an education to better their life, then they would no longer be on the system. Now would they? And then you'd lose money, and then you'd lose your job, your good cushy job. You think I'm stupid? Do you think I'm stupid? Do you think I'm stupid? Huh? You don't know me very well then, do you? Because let me tell you something. This doesn't mean stupid, okay? This doesn't mean stupid. Got it? See it? Huh? That's my college degree from Belmont Tech. I also have a diploma from Stratford Career Institute in psychology and social work. And that isn't all. You know, I got my degrees from Universal Life Church. A lot of people laugh at that too because some people say, well, that's just an internet church. When was the internet invented? Was the internet invented back in the 1950s? Huh? Was it? Was it invented back in the 1980s? There was computers in the 80s. And how computers were set up back in the 80s, you had to have this device hooked up to your computer and you set your phone receiver on it to dial into another computer. There wasn't the internet like it is what was in the 90s, from 95. You know, came out with Windows 95 and Windows 98 and from there on and on and on. What is today? Just because the church utilized the internet as a tool, then there's people out there who think, well, it's just an internet church. An internet church. It's not an internet church. It started in the 50s as a prison ministry, basically. Then it went on from there. I was ordained through another minister. Well, I gotta get off here. I'm getting a phone call. God bless you.